a great honor for me to introduce and welcome Mr. Sandeep Sengupta, founder, director of Indian School of Anti-Hacking. He is a
security professional expert. I myself am an ethical hacker over the last 22 years, maybe. And I work very closely with the police department, with the CID, not the Sony CID, real CID. And I work very closely with different type of law enforcement, government, and I protect a lot of companies like right from your ABP Anando to CSC Spencer, uh, right from Ambuja Group, Amri, Apollo Hospital. If you heard about PwC, even banks like Bandhan Bank, they are my audit. So I'll just give you some idea like what we do and what is the scope. I'll give you some live demo of hacking so that you get some idea. And I also tell you what are the do and don'ts, because I get a lot of calls from people like you that my Facebook account got hacked, my Gmail account got hacked, how to protect it. So I will talk a little bit about that. And then I will tell you that what is the life of an ethical hacker and how you can become an ethical hacker. Screen, Yahoo screen.
yes, yes, we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, I think some people can write me. So some of you don't do, but most of you do it. So if you save your password like this, see what can happen. Even if you can show this to your parents, if they save the password like this, you can show how dangerous it is to save a password like this. You can go and show this demo in front of your parents so that they get shocked and they don't do it again. Just if you have saved your password on any browser, just right click on that browser. Immediately you will see there is a pop-up. I'm right clicking on the browser. There is a pop-up. The last one is inspect. Whichever browser you use, the last one will be inspect. Click on inspect. Immediately the code will open. See, some part of the code is already selected. Just change the third word from password to text text and click on enter. Close this code and the password is already visible. So anybody who save a password on the browser, that password can be seen by anyone within 2 to 3 seconds. It is very easy to see the password. What did I do? I right clicked on that. I used inspect. I opened this immediately. The code opened. I changed the third word from password to text. I closed the window and immediately the password is visible. Now in Yahoo, they can anyway, you can see the password by show password, but there are a lot of sites where you are not allowed to show the password. But any site, if I save a password in the browser, that password can be stolen within 2 to 3 seconds. So what did we learn first? Never ever save your password on the browser. Especially if you are going to a friend's house or a cyber cafe, never save your password because that password can be immediately seen from the browser. So I get a lot of questions that I my Gmail and my Facebook account got hacked. Is there a way to protect it? Yes, there is a way to protect it. Let me see. Let me go to my Gmail account. So this is my Gmail account. This is my Gmail account. I have gone to Gmail. If you can see my Gmail, I'm not showing you my inbox because there are a lot of emails in the inbox. I don't want to show that to you. I've just opened intentionally my spam box and I've cleared the spam, so it is empty. So if I go to my Gmail, you will see at the top right corner, there are 9 dots. Click on that dot and immediately will get a pop-up. In that pop-up, the first option is account. Click on that account. The moment you click on that account, it comes to this page. Again, come to the left side. On the left side, fourth menu, can you see there is something called security? Click on security. If you click on security, you will come to this page, scroll down and you will come to two-step verification. By default, this two-step verification is always switched off. You have to switch it on. What will happen if you switch it on? You click on this arrow put your mobile number over there, your personal mobile number, and then switch it on. The moment you switch it on, if you put your ID password in Gmail, they will send an OTP to that mobile number which you have just put over there. And till you put that OTP, you cannot log into your Gmail. So what will happen? Even if a hacker, a bad hacker, knows your ID password, that person will never get your OTP and can never hack into your Gmail. So everybody needs to go and enable this two-step verification in Gmail, and then the Gmail is impossible to hack. If you want to know how to make your Gmail hack proof, this is the way you can have to make it hack proof. You should never keep this off. But by default, if you now check your Gmail, if you log into your Gmail and check, you will see it is switched off. Just switch it on and don't, and always use this OTP. This OTP is asked first time you log in from a machine. If you go to a friend's house, and even if you go to give the ID password over there, and the friend has used the keylogger to steal your password, still he will not be able to log into your Gmail because OTP will always come to your mobile. And since you are not giving that OTP to your friend, no way he can get into your Gmail. Let us go into the Facebook account. If you go to Facebook, this is my Facebook account. You will see again at the top right, there is a drop down. Click on that drop down. You will get a drop down list. In the drop down list, the third one, you can see it is called settings and privacy. I believe all of you can see my Facebook, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes, sir.
in the drop down, there is something called settings and privacy. Click on that. I'm clicking on the setting and privacy. The moment you click on setting and privacy, there is something called setting. Click on setting. The moment you click on setting, it will come to this particular page. Now on this page, you click on security and login on the left. See at the left, you have something called security and login. Click on that. The moment you click on that, scroll down and again you will see two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication, if you enable this again, and Facebook, the moment you give your ID and password, they will ask for a OTP, and that OTP will come to your personal mobile. So even if somebody steals your ID password, they will not be able to hack into your Facebook account because they will never get the OTP, which is only coming to your mobile. So this is way you can completely protect your Facebook account and no hacker can hack into your Facebook account. Same thing you can do for your Instagram, for your LinkedIn, for your Twitter. Every social media has given this feature that you can enable this two-factor authentication and no hacker will be able to hack into your account. Your account becomes 100% hack proof. Now, if I go back to my Facebook account, most of the time what I see that you people post something and you post it as public. Now, especially for girls, if you post it as public, what will happen? All the photos can be viewed by anybody who is not even your friend. And those photos can be downloaded from your profile and can be used to make a duplicate account. So what you need to do, the moment you want to post on Facebook, you click on this drop down and from public, you make it specific friend. See, specific friend or only friends or some friend, except some friends. So I have met some groups that if you go and check my Facebook, you will see that not a single family photo is posted over there, all professional photos. But I do post family photos over there. But if I post a family photo, what do? Immediately, I change from public to only my family, specific friend. This is all a Sengupta over here. So these are all my family members. So I don't post anything in the public, or even if something is very personal, I make a close group of friends and I only post within that close group. I do not post outside that. And if you are very skeptical, you can also lock your Facebook account so that nobody who is not a friend can see anything from your Facebook profile or photo or anything that you are posting. Another problem that I see, that you are always playing something like pillow challenge, shadi challenge. You know what will happen the moment you play this type of games? You have put up a nice picture with a shadi. Again, these pictures will be taken, they will be morphed, they will be done something very bad, and they will create duplicate profile with this type of photos. But in any case, if you face this type of problem, what you need to do, just go to the cyber cell of the police, and they will track the IP address, and from the IP address they will find out who has done it. It takes some time, around 5-6 days, but they can find it. At least in Calcutta, we have got a lot of people like this, because I work very closely with the police department in Kolkata. So anybody who has made a fake profile on a Facebook, immediately we get the IP address, and we go to the telecom or the internet service provider, and we know which person has done it, and immediately we'll catch that person and bring to the police station. So if you face this type of problem, always go to the police and tell them that this profile is troubling me. Even you can report the profile. Ask 50 friends of yours to report the profile. Immediately the profile will get blocked. Facebook will, don't, it is, the Facebook profile will not get blocked only for 5-6 report. But if you go to a profile, suppose I go to a particular profile, maybe let me go and check this. This guy is the owner of Wow Momo. These 3 people. So if I go over there and I go and say ki I will report this profile, and I have 50 friends of mine to report this profile, immediately Facebook will delete his profile or block his profile. Right. So I understood that how to keep my social media account safe by activating 2-factor authentication is very, very important. Now, who are ethical hackers? Let me go back to my PPT. So if I look into my PPT, there are 3 different types of hackers. In fact, there are 5 types of hackers. So the first group are called the white hat hackers, though they don't actually wear a white hat, but they are called white hat hackers. Just that technically they are called white hat hackers, and they are the good guys. The black hat hackers, they are the bad guys. And the script kiddies are people who doesn't know how the hacking tool works, but they just download the tools, run the tools, then police catch them and they go to the jail. So who are the white hat hackers and who are the black hat hackers? I will give you some more explanation. Other than to the white hat hackers, the black hat hackers, and the script kiddies, white hat hackers are people who are called by the organization. I'll give you an example, like why they call us in the organizations. So let me give you another some guideline. Let me go to the Facebook. Fine. Okay. I believe everybody can see my Facebook. See.
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of accounts which got hacked. If you are using Truecaller got hacked. See, I can show you that Truecaller reported hacked 1 million Indian users at risk. If you are talking about Zomato, then Zomato got hacked. 17 million users at breach. If you talk about Ola got hacked. So all credit card information, everything got leaked. If you talk about Air India got hacked, and 45 lakh customer data, including passport, credit card information, got hacked. Just name any company in the world, and immediately you will see that company. I don't know, Zomato is how many of you eat Domino's pizza?
Sir, me.
Yes, so Domino's pizza
got hacked recently.
It was recently got hacked, and 18 crore phone numbers were leaked into the internet on the dark web, deep web. So in fact, it was so dangerous. If I know a phone number, I can find out where that person lives, where he has ordered the pizza from, where he has sent the order, that pizza has been delivered, latitude, longitude, his email ID or her email ID. It was dangerous. I mean, just think of it. I know your phone number and I know everything about you. Or I just know your email ID and I know your phone number, your address, your latitude, longitude. I find exactly from Google Map where are you located. So that was a complete mess. So these companies now, in spite of putting so much money, and these are all top level companies, even if you search for NASA, just think of it. NASA was hacked. A 15 years old with a PC hacked NASA in 1999. My goodness. Even if you search for Microsoft, Microsoft was also hacked. I mean, see, there are a lot of, in fact, the latest one is a Microsoft Exchange server. Hackers breached thousands of Microsoft customers around the world. And that is even latest, 7th March 2021. So these companies, like my clients are like Coca-Cola. I have clients like Coca-Cola, like Bandhan Bank. I have companies like Tata Steel. So these companies, they want to know that whether, okay, let me, we go to these companies wants to know that if their network, their server, their software is safe or not. Like Bandhan Bank, when they first started the online banking, they called me and they said, Sandeep, can you check our online banking system? Because we are very skeptical. The moment we go online, somebody can hack into their account. So can you check our online banking system before we go live, before we offer it to our customer? So this is what basically we do. We check the system and we make sure that they're okay before they go to the customer. So that is the job of a ethical hacker. Obviously, what is the unethical hacker, black hat hacker doing? They will immediately they will go to they do all type of stealing password, stealing money from the bank, like the ATM scam, phishing scam. They do a lot of nasty things just to steal money from the people. So the now I think some people have extra privilege. So please, I hope you are enjoying this, or I will start removing people from the meeting. Okay. So if we go into these three group of hackers, white hat hackers, black hat hackers, and the script kiddies, obviously the white hat hackers has the maximum money because we are paid a lot to keep the company secured. And the black hat hackers are the people who might earn some money, but they are ultimately caught by the police and they are thrown to the jail.
Sir, which type of hacker are you?
I am a white hat hacker. I am a white hat hacker because I go to companies and protect them. If you look into, yes, if you look into the client list like Coca-Cola, like Bandhan Bank, like ABP News, they are the people who come to me and I help them to keep secured. That is my job. Right. Now, know your enemy. There are different ways that you can get hacked. First of all, these are the worms, trojans, spyware. Even the latest spyware that everybody is talking about is Pegasus. I don't know. I mean, I have come n number of times on the TV channels to talk about this spyware, Pegasus, and they are just, Pegasus is so dangerous that you just give a missed call to somebody and their entire mobile gets hacked. And then you can listen to that mobile, you can switch on the microphone, you can switch on the camera, you can see whatever, wherever they're going. You can even steal their SMS, that is OTP. You can steal their contact list, you can see what are they chatting with somebody, you can listen to all their phone calls. So it is very dangerous. But that Pegasus software is 50 crore, that costs 50 crore per year. So most of the time, whoever has bought it has no interest on you and me. However, There are free softwares which can work like Pegasus, but they cannot be operated through missed call. How they operate? I will send a message to you on WhatsApp, a good morning message with a image or with a PDF file or with a video like Shah Rukh Khan dancing. The moment you click on that, your mobile will get infected. And then I can show you what you are chatting with somebody, what you are doing, and that becomes very dangerous because they are free tools. You just have to click on that link. So when you get a good morning message from a friend in the morning or a good night message in the evening, and there are n number of people who are forwarding those messages, it is very, very dangerous. Why? Because you never know who created this message. All of you are forwarding this message. By clicking on that message, there are thousands and thousands of people who are getting infected. And the hacker has control over all those mobiles. So it is not good to click on these messages, on these links, on these images, on this video. It is not at all good to click on this. Otherwise, your mobile will get infected. The next thing, which is very important, that the biggest target is your mobile. Let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. Let me show you a good example. Okay. Suppose you are downloading, can you see the PPT? The Cafe Coffee Day?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I will stop the share and I'm sharing. I'll stop the share, I'll share again. Now you can see.
Yes, sir.
Right. So
Yes, sir.
if you download, if you
Yes.
want to install a new app, so you want to install a new app, what are the things you should keep in mind while installing the new app?
Is the app
So,
safe?
so
The
first of all, we have
Yes,
to
sir.
check.
of the app.
We have to check that is the reviews, the ratings, and so the comments, so that we can take the experience like the other people had, whether they have been hacked or they like got into any problem or.
Sir, if
Okay, that's a very
Sir,
good.
the
The
permissions that
developer
they are
should be a
asking, sir.
large organization.
sir, the
Right.
permissions they are asking for.
Yes, sir. The permissions that they ask.
Excellent. So I am talking to a lot of geeks out here.
Sir, if
So, just hold on, hold on. So what I can see that if I look into I want to install an app, I will most likely go to an app store or a Play Store. Never ever download an app from outside the Play Store or the App Store. Never install an app from a WhatsApp or a link or any portal or any website. Immediately you will get messed up. Most likely it is a virus, it's a malware. So if you want to install an app, please install it from the App Store or a Play Store. If you want to install, you go to Play Store and you will see that there are hundreds of apps over there, and you never know which is the genuine and which is the fake app. Even if you give one name over there, you will see that 10 apps will come up with the same name. So you look at the rating and the review. If the app doesn't have 5,000 rating and 5,000 review, at least, then it might not be a genuine app. Look at the reviews that people have left over there. If you click over here in the review part, rating part, you will see a lot of people have written bad reviews over there. Just read those bad reviews. If somebody has said that my phone got hacked, definitely you will not install that app. Most important, try to understand what type of permission. The moment you try to install the app will ask you for permission, that I will have access to your SMS, to your album, to your contact list, to your location, to your files, to your microphone, to your camera. Now, will you give so much access to that app? Most of the time we have seen that people are downloading random apps like astrology app, games app, and they're giving access to each and everything in the mobile handset. The mobile moment you give all this access to the app, what will happen? The app can hack into your mobile because every bit of access you have already given intentionally to that app. So if you have given access to the SMS, they have the access to OTP. Just now I have showed you that OTP can actually save you from your social media account, Facebook, Gmail getting hacked. But if the app has access to
Sir,
OTP, immediately it is end.
Sir,
End
but
of
it
the.
depends.
Yeah, carry on.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but sir, it depends as because, for example, WhatsApp, right? They do need access to our video calls, to our camera and our mic. So, sir,
I'll come
it's
to
not
it.
like every time. Hello,
I'll come to
sorry,
it.
sir.
Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. I will come to it. I will discuss everything. So if you are downloading a very popular app like Ola, Uber, Zomato, then of course you have no other option but to give them the access, because if you are not giving access, the location access to Ola, how will that cab reach your house? If you are not giving access to certain
Ma'am, we
popular
can
apps,
try type the message. We can type the address, ma'am, by manually.
Sir, what I do
yeah,
is that I give the permission
I
while
will
using the
answer
app.
all questions. Please write in the chat window. It is open in front of me. I can see everything you are writing. I have only 20 minutes left. I want to show you a lot of things. So if you talk, I can't show you. Right? If you want to write something, write in the chat window. I will answer all the questions over there. So please make sure that what type of access you are giving to the app. Now, there are other things like the home Wi-Fi password. You need to change the you need to change. In fact, if you come back to the mobile, I would like to also mention something. Never send your mobile to a service center without erasing the mobile. Do you know that if you delete something from the mobile or the laptop or the desktop hard disk, that data is still there? Because hard disk cannot delete a data. When you delete a data or format the hard disk or shift or just do shift del, what happens? That space within the hard disk is marked as clear. Data is still there. When you put new data over there, then it overwrites the old data and the old data is gone. So if you have deleted the hard disk and given that hard disk to me using a forensic tool, I can find everything. I can recover all your pictures. Just give me your mobile. After a factory reset, I can find out all the photos using a forensic tool.
Yes.
So it is very much possible. So if you give your mobile to a service center, or you sell your mobile on OLX, or you go for a mobile exchange offer, then what will happen? That service center or the person who has bought the mobile can recover all the pictures that you have taken with that mobile, even if you have formatted or did a factory reset. So if you sell a mobile or go for a mobile exchange offer, always use this tool called DBAN, DBAN. I have written in the chat window. This tool, again, you will find from the Play Store or App Store. You can use it on laptop, desktop, or you can use it on mobile. What it does, it overwrites the data with new data, some garbage data, some useless data. And then only that old data, that photo, that file, that whatever is there, chat, that browser history, that contact list, everything is gone. If you overwrite using these tools like DBAN, otherwise, every bit of data from your mobile, not only mobile, think of your pen drive. You do a format of the pen drive and give it to a friend. He can easily restore every file from there. Think of a digital camera. You take out the SD card from the digital camera and give it to a friend. He can recover every photo that you have taken with the digital camera. And there can be some photos which you don't want to share with anybody else. So always use this type of tools to securely erase, overwrite that data, so that somebody who is taking it will not be able to recover your confidential files, photos from that that pen drive or SD card or mobile or laptop or desktop, whatever is there, external hard disk. I will come to it. I will come to it. Okay.
Sir, but how can like we get sure that like Hannah, how can you ensure that the app that you provided, the ban, is not like actually overwriting our memory, but it's actually accessing our memory, and it's like sending all the information, the valuable information to you. Because like you said, the virus Pegasus, like
I'll
we
give
just
you
have
the
to give a
answer.
miss.
I'll give you the answer. I
We
got
ju-
your point.
Acha,
So DBAN, yes, thank you so much. So DBAN is a software which is used by all the top level companies. DBAN is a software which is used by all the top level companies. Since I'm an auditor, I go to all big companies. I told you, like PwC, Tata Steel, banks. I go all these companies for audit. So this is a software which is used by most of the companies to securely erase their hard disk or pen drive. So that's why I suggested this software to you people. Right. Now, coming back to my share, let me go back to my PPT. So I understood that now mobiles is something which I need to protect. I should not give the mobile to a service center. I should always erase it using some software, popular softwares like DBAN, and I should not install random astrology software, game software in my mobile without looking into what type of access I am providing over there. I have already shown you how to protect Gmails and how to protect the Facebook. Now, different type of scams are there. Mostly the phishing scams, where you can see that there's some. Okay, how to protect you? How to know that there is a bank fraud, phishing fraud? The best idea to protect that, whenever you put a password, never put a password on a site which doesn't start with HTTPS. Can you see HTTPS? How do you see that? When you see that www, you
Yes,
see a
sir.
lock over there. So if you don't see the lock over there, closed lock, you never put your password. It's a fake site. If you see a closed lock over there, then it's a safe site. It's a secured site. You never share your OTP over the phone. Make sure OTP will never be asked over the phone. OTP is asked in a, you can put your OTP in an app. You can put in the, I mean, you can tell your OTP or a PIN number in Ola, Uber, face to face, but over the phone, OTP is never asked. So anybody who has asked you an OTP or a PIN over the phone is a fraud. Never install this software, AnyDesk and TeamViewer. Dangerous software. Remember this name, AnyDesk TeamViewer. If you look into this software, then if you install this software in your mobile, there is a high chance that your mobile will get hacked. Never get emotional over the social media. Why? Because if you get emotional over the social media, there are a lot of people sitting over there who will immediately notice you, and they will start playing mind games with you. So if you have to say something, say offline, but not online. The moment you broadcast online, I am not happy, I don't have a happy life. There are hundreds of people out there who are maybe 50 years of age, 40 years of age. They are just waiting for you to trap you. Never forward fake message. How to understand whether a message is fake? Every day you forward WhatsApp message, whether they're fake or not. Very easy to find out. You go to Google and search fact checker. The moment you click on fact checker, you go to Google and you type over there that, right over there, fact checker. And there are hundreds of sites which will immediately come up. Even there is a Google site for fact checker. Put that title over there and they will tell you whether it's a fake or it is genuine. Without checking, don't forward message. The consequence is very bad. You never know what can be the consequence if you start spreading a fake message. Never trust someone in the social media you haven't met offline. Lock your mobile screen, very important. If your screen is unlocked, just if you have given your mobile to somebody, within 2 seconds, he will install a spyware in your mobile. Very important, find your phone app. Sometimes people come to me and tell me ki sir mera phone chori ho gaya. How to identify where is it? It is very easy. If you are using an Android or an Apple, you can log into Google, and in Google you will see a link, find my phone. You don't need the phone, just log into Google from your laptop. You can do it right now. Log into Google through your laptop and see there is something called find my phone. The moment you click on find my phone, it will tell you exactly on Google map where is your phone is located. You can try it at home. So when you lose your phone, you can actually go to that Google account, and you can find where exactly is your phone. You don't need the handset. And not only that, even if your phone is in the silent mode, you can ring that mobile. You can force ring that mobile from that Google account. So even if your mobile is in vibration mode or silent mode, it will start ringing.
Sir, but in airplane
All
mode, it doesn't work.
aeroplane mode means it is not even connected to the telecom network. How will it work? Right? Its
Yes, sir.
mobile has to be reached. Hai na?
Yes, sir.
So always dial *#06#. You can dial this and note down your IMI number. If you ever lose your mobile, you have to give this IMI number to the police, and nobody can use that handset if that IMI number is given to police. Just dial *#06# from your mobile, and immediately a pop-up will come which will tell you the IMI number. If you have a dual SIM, then you will get two IMI number. Just mention those IMI numbers in a police complaint, and that handset can never be used by a thief. Change your password every 30 days. Do not use free Wi-Fi. If you use free Wi-Fi, there is a tool called Wireshark which can be used to hack into your data. And do not save your password. This is a demo I have shown you at the beginning. Also, there is something called call spoofing, email spoofing, SMS spoofing. So call spoofing is now they are using voice over IP to spoof a call. That means I can make a call from anybody's mobile to some other person's mobile. I'm not calling from your mobile. I'm calling from my mobile, but I'm putting your mobile in the from field. So when your friend will get the call, he or she will see that as if you have called. And you know what is happening? Somebody has given a fake call to a girl's mobile and said that your friend is has an accident, you come over there. The moment she went over there, she got into trouble. So if you get a call which you are suspicious, what will you do? Immediately cut the call and call back. If you call back, then it's a normal call. So if you get a fake call and you are not sure whether it is fake or genuine, just disconnect and call back. If you call back, it will go to the original friend and he will say that I never called you. Debit card, credit card, banking, never give your debit card, credit card to anybody in the restaurant, because a lot of fraud can happen over there. I'm not going into the details. In fact, there are small equipments which are used in the restaurant. So if you give the card to that person and he takes that card away, immediately he can swipe that card in the equipment, it will get cloned. So make sure that you are not handing over the card. And if you have a card like this, which has a contactless sign, that is a wireless sign, make sure that you put the card in an aluminum foil, because if you take this card to a shopping mall and somebody come with that POS machine, till 2000 rupees deduction without OTP or PIN. I would like to tell you something before I proceed. See, there is a huge opportunity for the ethical hackers. I will give you an idea. Let me show this. If you go and take Google like NASCOM ethical hackers, and you come to this particular link, you will see that in Economic Times in 2015 they have mentioned that we need lot of ethical hackers, like the good hackers. You know why? Because so many companies are falling in front of the bad hackers. Air India, Truecaller, Zomato, Ola, Microsoft, NASA, NATO, even like TCS has been hacked. So these companies are willing to pay any money to somebody who is getting, who can protect them. And you know how much money these people are earning? I'll just give you some idea. I'll just give you some idea. Like if you have seen this link that lot of ethical hackers, 1 million, that is 10 lakh cybersecurity professionals needed by 2020. And at this moment, we have only around 50-60,000. So almost 9 lakh left, deficit is there. So if the country needs more, 9 lakh more ethical hackers, which is very bad for the country with all this China threat from Pakistan. I mean, we are in the verge of a cyber warfare. A third world war will be a cyber warfare, and we lead lot of cyber army, and we do not have the required number of cyber army. Next world war will not be fought with guns; it will be fought with mouse, and already it has started. Every country is trying to hack into the other countries. Infrastructure, networks, software, banks, stock exchange, power grids. Even now, you have seen that that Mumbai there was a power grid hack. So countries are constantly trying to hack into other countries, and we need a lot of good people to protect our country. And we need 10 lakh. We have only 50,000. It's a very bad. But on the other side, it is very good for the PU people. Why? I will just give you some idea. See how much salary you are expecting once you come out from the college. The average salary at this moment, I will just increase the font. The average salary at the moment is around 25,000 rupees per month. An average salary is around 25,000 rupees per month. But ethical hackers as a fresher, they are getting around 2 lakhs per month salary. And that too as a fresher, as a BTech, IT or computer science, but with good knowledge of cyber security. So salary, since there is a 10 lakh people needed and we have only 50,000, we have a huge deficit. Companies are not finding the right people, and they're willing to pay any money to the people who already have this knowledge. And that's why the salary has gone almost sky high. It has gone almost sky high. And they are willing to spend any money, and they are willing to spend any salary to the people, like 2 lakhs per month salary. While a PHP developer or a Java developer is getting only 25,000 rupees per month, not more than that. So
sir,
try to come
sorry
to
to
this
interrupt.
field. Yes. See, yes.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But sir, what are the like actual qualifications, like the big qualification we need
will
to be
tell you.
ethical hacker and work with the
I will tell you.
government in?
So if you want to work with the police department, you need to have knowledge of digital forensics. This is something which right now, even in Calcutta, the police, they are asking us to send us a lot of policemen who knows digital forensic, but we are not finding the right people. I mean, all our students, we have a training center over here in Calcutta. It is known as Indian School of, I don't know whether you have heard the name or not, Indian School of Ethical Hacking. I'll just share the URL with you. This is our URL, ISUH. You can check, you can take a snapshot, you can check. So lot of students who are taking up digital forensic training from us, they are going and joining corporate MNC, but police needs 100 ethical hackers, the digital marketing, digital forensic guys, but we are not being to send. If you talk about PwC, they need around 2 type of ethical hackers. One is network security guys, and one is software security guys. So they need 2 type of people: network security, software security. To understand network security, you need to have knowledge of CCNA and ethical hacking. And if you talk about the tools are Nmap, Nessus, and the new version is Parrot or Kali Linux. You can use either Parrot or Kali Linux and then Metasploit. If you know this, I guarantee that you will get at least a 70 to 80,000 rupees salary per month. And for software security, you need to understand Python. Very important. Start learning Python right from school. Python programming language.
Yes,
This
sir,
is the
we have
most
started.
important programming language. Yes, that is very good. Python programming language is the hottest programming language at this moment. And then you need to know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of JavaScript. If possible, learn a little bit of Java. If you really want to be a very, very good programmer, the mother of all programming language is C. C programming language. If you know C very well, you can actually create a Kali Linux yourself. You can actually create a tool like Nmap yourself. So C is the most powerful programming language, but a tool like Nmap can also be created in Python programming language. So C, and then very important, learn database, because every data stays is in a database. Like what type of database? Learn Oracle. And then you can go into ethical hacking. Now, the most important part is, if you go and check in Naukri.com, you will see that they have something called VAPT, which is vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. What is the difference between these two? Can anybody tell me? Vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. All the geeks out here.
Sir, is vulnerability assessment like the one who checks the company, like as you say for the Bandhan Bank, they called you up to check their check their program so that no hackers can hack in future.
What is penetration testing?
Sir,
Trying to
penetration
hack into a
testing.
company's
Sir,
system.
trying to hack into some system so that we can take out all the bugs and like make them like to make them.
Not really. See, this is a complete process. Vulnerability assessment is where we know the problem by using tools, and penetration testing where we exploit the problem to show that there is actually a problem. If you just find a problem and tell a client that there is a problem over here, they will not accept it. You have to hack into the system, take a screenshot and show that screenshot to that person, and that is called penetration testing. So money is in penetration testing. If you are not a good penetration tester, then you cannot be a good, you will not get a good salary. The money is not in vulnerability assessment. This is tool based. So even a school kid can do it. Even you people can do it. But the real skill lies in the penetration testing, where you find the problem, you hack into that system, you take a screenshot and show that screenshot to the client, and then only they will pay you money. That yes, agreed, there is a problem. So a penetration tester is the person who actually makes a lot of money. And to learn penetration testing, you need to be very, very good with the Metasploit. You need to be very good with SQL map, Havis. You need to be very good with different type of exploit. And if you are really good, you will be very good in exploit writing. And you can be very good in reverse engineering. This is something very, very at the high level. If you want to be an ethical hacker, there is something called certified ethical hacker, which is the entry level first step. But after CH, ultimate your aim will be OSCP and OSCE, Offensive Security Certified Expert and Offensive Security Certified Professional. Like the auditors that we use in our team, like our company, they're OSCP, OSCE certified, because these are the people who actually has a lot of knowledge. So your target should be to go and do a OSCP. Otherwise, the entry level, it is CH. So anyway, it's not like that all of you have to be a vulnerability assessment penetration tester. There is something called SOC SIEM. I don't know if they've heard about it or not. There's a lot of demand in SOC SIEM. If you go over there, it will look like a command control center, like you have seen in the Uri movie, or you have seen in that Family Man, where people are watching a lot of things. So that is the SOC center, SOC SIEM center. So if there is a lot of job in SOC SIEM, but there is not enough people who know the technology. Like SIEM, like you can explore this Alien Vault. It is a free tool you can download. There is something called Splunk. These are the things you can download. Alien Vault is a free open source. They have a paid version, but Alien Vault you can download. So these are the tools which you need to look into. I'm sharing some free resources to you. I will show you something over here. This is
So,
our.
sir, who are
I'll
freelance
share.
hackers?
There are bug bounty hunters. So bug bounty hunters are those people who will see, you should not go and try to hack into a company website. The moment you do it, police will catch you and throw you into the jail. Because as per Indian IT Act, you cannot proactively start searching for a vulnerability on anybody's website without his permission. However, there are some sites like HackerOne. You can check out this site, HackerOne, where a lot of companies have listed their software or website, and they ask if freelancers can try our website. If you find a bug, we will pay you. Just like there's a lady in Delhi, 21 years of age, she got a 40 lakh bug bounty offer. So bug bounty people go to these sites like HackerOne and they try to find a vulnerability over there. If they can find a vulnerability, then the companies pay them for that. So they are called bug bounty hunters. I will just put it into your chat window so that you can copy paste from there. I will put everything in your chat window.
Sir, who is exactly crackers?
Crackers are the bad guys who are trying to hack into. Suppose if you go and try to check Bandhan Bank, whether Bandhan Bank site is okay or not, immediately police will come to your house and drag you to and take you to jail. So then you will be called a cracker because you didn't take permission from Bandhan Bank and you tried to hack into it. So I will just show you some sites. This is our website. Can you see our site? This is our website. This is our
No, sir,
link.
we
You
can-
can check this
Okay,
link.
link we can see.
Hello. No, I have shared my website.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see my
Just
website?
now I saw.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just now it showed.
Yes. So if you go to our website, iosvillage.com, and check the knowledge section. Go to the knowledge section, go to the tools, tutorials. If you go to the tutorials, you will see there are many tutorials, hundreds of tutorials over there where you can learn. Not only that, you can go to the knowledge section and you can go to the tools, you can go to the tutorials, you can go to our Facebook page where we post articles, and you can go to our YouTube channel. A YouTube channel also I'm sharing with you. You can see the videos out there. I'm sharing the YouTube channel with you. There are hundreds of videos on step by step, like how to, even I told you how to learn forensic, digital forensic. You can learn from there, like how to configure Radius server, how to, even forensic, there are a lot of workshops, 2 hours, 3 hours. See this free online workshop on Linux, on finding the user's current location. See this one, find and share the user's current location. This is about save your Android phone from issue, extending file upload vulnerability. This is live workshop on cybersecurity and ethical hacking. This workshop is on how to install Cisco Packet Tracer in Ubuntu. So there's a step-by-step guideline. And there are hundreds and hundreds of videos you can explore. These are all free. You can just click on that link and you can explore these videos. One more thing I would like to share with you. This link you can check. It's a very good link for you people. We have made a handbook. What are the security do and don'ts? You can check this handbook. It's a very good handbook and you can share with your parents, with your family members, and you can also ask your parents to share in their office with all the relatives you have. This handbook we have listed down what are the do and the don'ts to stay secure on the internet, how people can protect themselves. Whatever I'm telling you, time is very short. 1 hour I cannot explain everything, but everything I have mentioned and some much more we have mentioned in this particular handbook. So you can explore this handbook, download this handbook, and you can share it with all your friends. You can share the link, or you can download and share with everybody. Coming to my number, you can, please do not call me. You can always reach out to me on WhatsApp. I am always there to help you out. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, we are planning to come to Guwahati. If we come with our team of ethical hackers, we will happy to see you face to face.
Okay, sir.
Obviously, once the pandemic is over. But if you have any career guideline, if you want to know something about ethical hacking, cyber security, you can always send me WhatsApp on this number 9830310550, and you can do self-study on the YouTube, on our website, or you can also check the handbook and you can share with your friends. So I think time is up. I will stop over here. If we come to Guwahati, we will need help from Dipali madam and all the faculty members over here. So stay in touch with madam. Madam, you are on mute.
Yes, sir. You are
Sure,
welcome.
sir.
Yes, sir.
We would love to see you face to face.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mission, and have a nice evening, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.